Hello and welcome. You're watching News at 6 with me, Aishwarya Kapoor. And in our top focus, we'll be looking at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Bangladesh. It is his final day of visit. We'll be taking a look at that. And also, there are a lot of activity going on around the formation of Janata Parivar. We'll get you details on that as well. But first up, the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi receives Bangladeshi honour on behalf of former Prime Minister Vajpayee, inaugurates new Chancery building of the Indian High Commission. Janata Parivar alliance against BJP takes shape in Bihar. JDU and the RJD decide to form committee to finalise seat sharing for assembly elections. 3 days after the deadly attack on an army convoy in Manipur, suspected terrorists strike again in Arunachal Pradesh. Protesters and police clash as G7 summit gets underway in Germany. Ukraine and Greece debt crisis top talks agenda. Our top story: on a day packed with engagements, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today received Bangladesh's Award of Liberation War Honour on behalf of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Now, this award comes a day after India and Bangladesh ratified their 4-decade-old land boundary agreement that is being hailed by the Bangladeshi media as a watershed moment in the relations between the two countries. Take a look.
Bangladesh acknowledging India's role in the independence struggle of the country. Bangladeshi President Abdul Hamid presenting Prime Minister Narendra Modi the Liberation War Honour for former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The function at the President's house was attended by Premier Sheikh Hasina and top officials.
भारतवासियों के लिए गौरव का पल है, जिस महापुरुष ने अपना संपूर्ण जीवन देश की सेवा में खपा दिया और राजनीतिक दृष्टि से मेरे जैसे लाखों कार्यकर्ताओं के लिए वे प्रेरणा मूर्ति रहे। ऐसे मां भारती के सपूत भारत रत्न श्रीमान अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी को आज बांग्लादेश सम्मानित कर रहा है।
The citation of the award says that a president of Bharatiya Jan Sangh and a member of the Lok Sabha, Vajpayee, took various steps to consolidate the friendship between Bangladesh and India. Appreciating India's assistance at the critical time in her nation's history, the Bangladeshi Prime Minister recalled that Indians had given shelter to her people. Prime Minister Modi also held talks with Bangladeshi President on matters of bilateral and regional importance. The two leaders also reviewed progress on the ongoing development projects carried out by India in Bangladesh.
With this historic visit, I think we are taking the relationship one step ahead, and it's cooperation 360 degrees. I think it's wonderful for whole of South Asia.
On Saturday, both nations signed 22 agreements and MOUs to take bilateral ties forward. One of them was an agreement to swap 200 enclaves dotted around the border. A string of trade and investment agreements accompany the land deal, along with the investments worth $4.5 billion in power and $2 billion credit facility for Bangladesh.
This is a positive development. It's a long pending dispute and problem that has been now sorted out. Not the people, those who have been suffering since independence because of those who have been residing in the enclaves. That will not take care of their problem alone. Of course, primarily they are going to be benefited.
Modi's jam-packed itinerary on Sunday included a visit to the newly constructed Indian High Commission's Chancery. Narendra Modi inaugurated the Chancery complex and interacted with the delegates. He also visited the Ramakrishna Mission, where he took part in special prayers with a group of monks. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
And as the countdown to the Bihar Assembly elections nears, parties are making an effort to finalize the nitty-gritties of an alliance to counter the BJP. The Samajwadi Party Supremo, who will also be the chief of the future Janata Parivar, today forged a reconciliation of sorts between the RJD and the JDU. Now, a 6-member committee will now decide the seat-sharing formula for the polls. All right, my colleague Pranav Goswami is tracking all those developments very, very closely. He's outside Mulayam Singh Yadav's residence. Now, Pranav, it was on 15th of April that we saw 6 political parties announcing a merger to counter the BJP in the Bihar Assembly elections. But since then, there has not been many developments really. But it seems that today there were a number of obviously meetings. It seems that we have something really concrete that may be finalized today.
There are certainly some issues which are still pending, especially for RJD, because in this meeting also no decision has been taken that who will be the chief ministerial candidate for Bihar Assembly election. Today Nitish Kumar met Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, and there are strong possibilities that NCP and left parties and Congress and JDU, they can come together and they can contest this assembly election together. But as far as RJD is concerned, Lalu Prasad Yadav has some issues because it is a question of survival for RJD, and definitely according to sources, Lalu Prasad Yadav doesn't want that that Nitish Kumar's name should be declared as chief ministerial candidate. But both RJD and JDU, they have this fear that if they do not contest this election together, then their vote share can be divided, and that will benefit BJP. So no decision has been taken yet as far as merger issue is concerned. But yes, Ram Gopal Yadav, SP leader, he made it very clear that this 6-member committee, 3 from RJD, 3 from JDU, they'll decide that the formula, the seat sharing formula. But as far as chief minister candidate issue is concerned, no decision has been taken yet, and that shows that internally there are conflicts, especially between RJD and JDU.
Right, there are a number of serious differences that still remain, but at the same time, Pranav, now when Election Commission had made the announcement about the Bihar Assembly polls, they had mentioned that they had not got any sort of official word from the Janata Parivar over their election symbol and things like that. What is the committee really going, when is the committee is really going to decide on this, because the elections are not far off, they are going to be held in the month of September?
Ram Gopal Yadav did not disclose that there is no time frame and who will be the members. RJD will decide that who are going to be members in this panel, and as well as JDU will decide that who will be members from their side. But yes, this is not going to be very easy, and there are no indications that till now that RJD and JDU they'll be merging and they'll be contesting on the same symbol. So it is not going to be very easy, and just because according to the sources RJD is creating some problems in this merger, and that is the reason that today Nitish Kumar met Congress Vice President, and he is also trying to get some more options.
All right, Pranav, you keep tracking all those developments. We'll keep coming back to you. So still not a very clarity on really the Bihar Assembly elections, the alliance that they were talking about, the Janata Parivar meeting in Delhi to basically arrive at an understanding over the alliance that has still not happened at the moment. You keep tracking all those developments, Pranav. We'll keep coming back to you. Thank you so much. All right, so ahead, as the countdown to the Bihar Assembly elections are nearing, the parties are making an all-out effort to finalize the nitty-gritties of an alliance really to counter the BJP. Let's take a look.
Samajwadi Party Supremo Mulayam Singh Yadav has found a middle path for the RJD-JDU alliance in Bihar. A 6-member committee comprising 3 leaders each from the 2 parties will decide the seat-sharing formula for the Bihar Assembly polls.
आज की इस बैठक में ये निश्चित हुआ है कि आरजेडी एवं जेडीयू की तरफ से 3 सदस्यों की एक समिति सीटों के बंटवारे को तय करेगी तथा दोनों दलों के नेता सीटों को अंतिम रूप देंगे और शीघ्र ही इस कार्यवाही को संपन्न कर लिया जाएगा।
As far as the Janata Parivar is concerned, the alliance is likely to be confirmed only after the polls.
ये मर्जत तो बिहार के
And in other news, the Indian Army and family members of martyrs have bid an emotional adieu to the soldiers of 6th Dogra Infantry Battalion who were killed in the militant attack in Manipur's Chandel district on Thursday. Meanwhile, just 3 days after this attack, another incident of an attack on the Indian Army by the same outfit has been reported.
Emotional families bid an emotional farewell to the soldiers who were massacred in an ambush by NSCNK militants in Manipur on Thursday. The biggest attack on the Indian Army in 2 decades. A somber atmosphere prevailed in the villages where the martyrs hailed from. All 18 soldiers were cremated with full military honors.
पापा कहते थे बड़े होकर आर्मी में ज्वाइन करना, देश की सेवा करना। पापा जिस तरीके से शहीद हुए उसी तरीके से देश की सेवा करना और जो भी उग्रवादी हैं उनको देश में आने से मना करना, उनको खत्म करना।
जिस तरीके से उन्होंने कुर्बानी दी है, बहादुरी दिखाई है, जो आने वाले जो पीढ़ियों के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा एक उदाहरण बनेगा कि देश की रक्षा के लिए हम जो है अपना जीवन जो है निश्वार करने के लिए तैयार हैं।
बहुत मतलब दुख की बात है, पूरे गांव को इतना दुख है कि पूछो मत। मतलब 3-4 दिन से लोगों ने खाना नहीं खाया, इतने इसकी मतलब कि दुख हुआ लोगों को।
जो तो क्षति हुई है उसको तो कोई पूर्ण नहीं हो सकती, ना कर सकता है, परंतु हमारा सिर जो ऊंचा किया उसने इस नाते कि वो फौज में था और देश के लिए एक समर्पित हुआ है, तो इसलिए इससे बड़ी हमारे को कोई खुशी नहीं है, ना हमारे को इस बात का दुख है।
Even as the slain soldiers were being laid to rest, another report of an attack by the same militant outfit emerged. This time their target was an Assam Rifles camp in the remote Lazo area in Tirap district of Arunachal Pradesh. A group of 35 NSCNK rebels reportedly attacked the camp in the early hours of Sunday, prompting retaliatory firing by the forces. However, there are no reports of any casualty and a massive search operation was launched to nail the attackers. Interestingly, the NSCNK abrogated the ceasefire accord with the central government in March, and since then they have been targeting security forces in Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland and Manipur. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Alright, in News in 6, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
Hello and a warm welcome to our special report, the program that brings you a ground zero view from whichever part of the country the Rajya Sabha TV cameras are travelling. It is the same village where the Telangana agitation actually began. We at Rajya Sabha TV bring you the first pictures of the landfall site. This is the main nerve centre where the legal battle for the Kaveri water dispute began. When you are moving around this Niyamgiri hill area, there are 41 streams like these which you have to cross.
No one understands India better than we do. Watch special report only on Rajya Sabha television.
Watch the world come alive in your living room. Defining moments. Momentous events. News Tonight, your window to the world. Every night at 9 p.m.
Tradition dating back centuries. A cultural heritage that inspires and warms at once. Magic that awes, Rajya Sabha television brings you Events that embrace the wonders of India's classical arts. Conversations with the biggest names in the culture and music. Rajya Sabha Television, Democracy at Work.
A new government in New Delhi. New faces.
People are not investing because they are scared of your tax administration.
New thinking.
The auction process is a fair and good process.
We cannot have a one-size-fits-all reform policy.
For insights and perspective.
Judiciary should be more concerned about corruption within itself.
The Modi government slogan of अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं. Soon the people's slogan will be हमारे पुराने दिन लौटा दो.
The biggest show on economic policy. Watch State of the Economy.
Welcome back after the break. Let's get you some international news now. And Turkey is voting in crucial general elections. It is closely contested poll as results would decide the fate of the ruling party led by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Now he is seeking enough majority to turn Turkey into a presidential republic.
Turks are voting in country's general elections, a closely contested poll that could reshape incumbent President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's legacy. Polls opened at 8 in the morning and will close at 5 p.m. local time.
Herkesin kendi özgür iradesiyle ülkenin geleceğiyle ilgili kanaatini beyan etmesi, oyunu kullanması bir vatandaşlık görevi. Bu vatandaşlık görevini yapan bütün vatandaşlara da teşekkür ve borç biliyorum.
Ama bizim demokrasiyle ilgili irademizi kimse pranga altına almamalı. Bilelim ki bunların oyunları yarın bozuluyor.
The ruling AKP, the Justice and Development Party, is seeking a two-thirds majority in the 550-seat parliament. This will enable the party to reform the constitution, allowing them to replace Turkey's parliamentary system with a presidential system, thus giving stronger powers for the president. The three largest opposition parties have already declared their opposition to the presidential system.
Bugün seçimler bana kalırsa Cumhuriyet tarihimizin en önemli, en kritik seçimlerinden bir tanesi. Zira bir hayat tarzını oylayacağımızı düşünüyorum.
Ki geleceğini oylayacak. Aslında bir seçim değil bana göre. Bu nedenle hayırlısı. Bu nedenle ülkemize, dünyaya ve çevre ülkelerine hayırlı olmasını dilerim.
The political atmosphere has been tense in the lead-up to the polls. On Friday, two explosions killed 4 and injured thousands during a rally of pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party. The Kurdish issue at the border looms large at the polls. Opinion polls showed Erdogan's AKP to be ahead. However, surveys are divided on whether it will secure the 276 seats required to enable it to form a single-party government or reach out 330 mark to initiate moves for a new constitution. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now news from Germany, where leaders from the biggest European nations have converged for a two-day G7 summit. Now the crisis in Ukraine and the Greek economy are expected to top the agenda. The event was, however, overshadowed by mass demonstrations by anti-globalization protesters who plan to hold more rallies. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is hosting representatives from the group of 7 industrialized democracies in the Bavarian Alps. US President Barack Obama called the leaders to stand up to Russian aggression in Ukraine. Ahead of the summit, Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper met Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko and announced military training for Ukrainian armed forces. The G7 forced out Russia from its ranks a year ago.
So over the next 2 days, in Schloss Elmo, we're going to discuss our shared future. A global economy that creates jobs and opportunity, maintaining a strong and prosperous European Union, forging new trade partnerships across the Atlantic, standing up to Russian aggression in Ukraine, combating threats from violent extremism to climate change.
We've also provided Ukraine with a wide array of non-lethal military equipment, and in cooperation with the United States, the Canadian Armed Forces will soon deploy to the western part of this country to begin training Ukrainian forces.
The summit, however, has been overshadowed by demonstrations. Thousands marched in a nearby town, sparking sporadic clashes with police. They also blocked a road leading to the venue, Schloss Elmau Hotel, with a sit-down protest. This forced those attending the G7 summit to make the final stretch of their journey by helicopter. Security is being provided by 17,000 police officers.
Nach Gleis, also möglichst nah ans Schloss daran, um dort, also kann ich jetzt sagen, für mich friedlich zu demonstrieren, Zeichen zu setzen und Vorhaben. Ja, es geht für mich um die Umverteilung zwischen Reich und Arm, dass dann Ausgleich geschaffen wird, um das friedlich zu machen. Und ich gehöre zu den Reichen.
The debt crisis staring Greece is also likely to take center stage. The country's international creditors have wrangled for weeks to hammer out a reform plan to unlock a final $8 billion bailout deal. European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker and EU President Donald Tusk are among the guests due to speak, with International Monetary Fund Chief Christine Lagarde joining them on Monday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And on to Africa now, and naval vessels from across Europe have converged in the Mediterranean Sea north of Libya to rescue 3,500 people crammed in boats. Now, this is one of the largest migration attempts this year. 15 rescue operations were carried out in the last 24 hours. Experts say that there is a need for a comprehensive approach to deal with the migration crisis. In another reminder of the ongoing migrant crisis in the Mediterranean, European warships and Coast Guard vessels on Sunday rescued about 3,500 migrants off the coast of Libya. The operation was carried out by Italian, Irish and German ships. A British Royal Navy ship also made its way towards Libya to assist. 9 wooden boats and 6 large rubber dinghies were found drifting around 45 miles off the Libya coast after issuing distress calls.
الظروف ممكن أنا أدفع قروش أدفع عمري أدفع أي حاجة عشان أنا أبقى أعيش مرتاح ضميري يكون مرتاح أنا حاليا عمري 24 سنة.
Tens of thousands of migrants have already arrived in Italy this year. The country has pressed European partners to do more to help it rescue and shelter the migrants fleeing poverty, persecution and conflicts in Africa, the Middle East and Asia. Last year, Italy brought 170,000 rescued migrants to Italian ports.
We do need treaty change. We think some of the changes in particular that we're demanding around availability of welfare benefits for new migrants from the EU can only be sustained against judicial attack in the European courts by treaty change.
The rescues on Sunday will bring the number of migrants who have been picked up at sea at around 80,000. The Italian government predicts a total of 2 lakh migrants will arrive on its shores this year. However, European countries have been unable to agree on a long-term strategy to ease the migration crisis. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And some more international news in Global Buzz. 3 Indian origin students were among 7 people killed in an earthquake on Malaysia's Mount Kinabalu. 5 of the victims included students, a teacher and a tourist guide. 29 students and 8 teachers were on a school trip from Singapore to Kota Kinabalu when the earthquake struck on 5th of June. An Egyptian appeal court cancelled a ruling to list Palestinian group Hamas as a terrorist organization. Now, Hamas is an offshoot of Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood that the authorities blacklisted over since the army ousted one of its leaders, Mohamed Morsi, from presidency in 2013. Meanwhile, Hamas welcomed the decision by Egypt and said that the ruling will help relations with Cairo. Israeli aircraft struck the Gaza Strip in response to a rocket fire from the Hamas-controlled territory that hit southern Israel. The militant rocket landed in open ground and no casualties were reported at Gaza after the airstrike. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu criticized the international community for not condemning the rocket fire. Rescuers extended their search to include 1,300 kilometers along the Yangtze River in the hope of finding the 11 people still missing after the passenger ship Eastern Star capsized on Monday. Since Saturday, 254 additional vessels and over 2,500 people have joined the search. Meanwhile, the death toll climbed to 431 on Saturday as most of the bodies were retrieved from the ship after it was hoisted out of the water upright on Friday. Only 14 people survived the accident. And we'll take another very short break. Stay with us for more news and updates.
Tradition dating back centuries. A cultural heritage that inspires and warms at once. Magic that awes. Rajya Sabha television brings you events that embrace the wonders of India's classical arts. Conversations with the biggest names in the culture and music. Rajya Sabha television, democracy at work.
Welcome back after the break. Let's get you some sports news. And Serena Williams won her 20th Grand Slam singles title on Saturday with the French Open. Already considered a legend of the game, Serena is now the second most successful women's player in the Open era, only behind Steffi Graf, who has 22 Grand Slam titles to her name.
Women's world number one Serena Williams clinched her 20th Grand Slam on Saturday, winning the French Open title for the third time. The 33-year-old American was struggling with flu before the final, but still proved too strong for her Russian opponent Lucy Safarova.
This is definitely probably one of my, I probably topped for my most difficult time to win, but it also makes me feel good that I was able to be fit and be able to win the event. I can't believe I won.
Frequently hailed as the queen of the court, Serena has a total of 35 Grand Slam titles to her name, with 20 singles, 13 doubles and 2 mixed doubles titles. Next up for her is the Wimbledon, a title she has already won 5 times. Victory at Wimbledon in July would see Williams hold all 4 major titles at once, having managed the feat already in 2003.
Obviously, I would love to win a Grand Slam. I haven't done great at Wimbledon the past 2 years, so I'm going to take it a day at a time there. My goal is just to do better than I did the last couple of years.
Serena's career has been marred with injuries, but she has emerged with a stronger will to win each time, making her one of the most dangerous opponents in the game. Already being counted as a legend, she is now third on the list of all-time major champions, behind Australian Margaret Court and German Steffi Graf. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And from tennis to football, Barcelona won their 5th UEFA Champions League title after a 3-1 win over Juventus in the final in Berlin. Now, both teams went into the final hoping to claim a treble after winning their respective domestic league and cup competitions. But it was the La Liga winners that took an early lead through Ivan Rakitic and looked comfortable till the half-time. However, Morata levelled matters for the Italian Giants in the 55th minute to set up a tense finish to the game. Luis Suarez then scored from a deflected Messi effort to restore Barcelona's lead, and Neymar sealed the victory with a goal in the final minute of the match. Well, what a match it was. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of News at 6. But before we go, here are the pictures of Prince George and Princess Charlotte of Britain that have gone viral on the net. The pictures being touted as the cutest ever of the brother-sister duo have been taken by their mother, the Duchess of Cambridge. Take a look.